Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today I will be talking to you about the history of anime. Anime has influenced a lot within a lot of our cultures and has brought much fame to Japan. I'm here to inform you as to what actually brought anime to its greatest points, some of its lowest points, and how it got to where it is, especially where it is today. So, the first Japanese animated film is known as Takobo's New Picture Book, which was released in 1917. This was just to go ahead and provide some entertainment at first, and didn't actually realize as to how much this specific thing would actually blow up. The first actual animated series is known as Tetsuan Atom, aka Astro Boy. Astro Boy ended up exploding into this huge phenomenon, which allowed for a lot uh, to come within the next years and so forth. This was released in 1963. Within 1940, within 1948, the first major animation studio surfaced is known as Toei Animation. This studio has brought us so many well-known anime that we know of today. Some actually include Dragon Ball with its entire series of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Z Kai, Dragon Ball GT, and as of recent, Dragon Ball GT. Another anime that is widely known and is also known as the longest manga going is One Piece, and one more that is relatively meant for the actual younger girl population would be known as Sailor Moon. So, as I said, manga, some people may not know exactly what that means. Manga is, in terms, supposed to be known as comics. Manga is just the actual Japanese name for comics, and anime is just Japanese animation. So the actual idea of Dragon Ball came around within 1986. One Piece came into fruition in 1999, and Sailor Moon came into fruition in 1992. As I've said before, anime has brought a great amounts of fame to Japan, and its whole society managed to go ahead and explode after events that may be known as World War II. The release the release of the 1937 film Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is is widely believed for influence towards many of the anime that we have today. The excuse me, the actual thoughts of having a singular damsel in distress and having a hero come in to save her, while there will be side characters to go ahead and try and help along the way. Within February 1917, Japan had seen nearly 20 short films. With the explosion of just these 20 short films by the time it was 1917, it came to a realization that, hey, this may not be just a one and done type thing, something that can just provide small bits of entertainment. And they explored upon this to go ahead and give it as much thought as possible. The fathers of anime may go ahead and include Oten Shimokawa, Junichi Koichi, and Seitaro Kitayama. For the majority of the short films that were released at the time, the films were silent and accompanied by either live music or even accompanied by live narrators. Sometimes it would have both. Kenzo Masakoa was the first voice actor in 1933. As I said, the actual animation would just be a silent animated film with people on the sides that go ahead and narrate, or there would come up slides, I guess you can say, with actual words, subtitles attached to them. Kenzo Masaoka was the first voice actor, and this allowed uh, this allowed for many anime, well, the further progression of anime to actually have voices alongside. And eventually, besides just the actual voices that were there, along came the idea of dubbing, where there would be uh, the other voice, there would be other languages spoken within this anime. Very popular dubbing would probably actually be the actual English dub. If we take a turn right back to 1945, when the government realized that anime was actually making a huge profit, they decided to go ahead and see some way to go ahead and use this for propaganda. Obviously, trying to go ahead and put in silent, insignificant. I'm sorry, not insignificant. I guess you can say innuendos to sell a message of, hey, join the army and fight back against what it was during World War II. Another thing that is within uh, the world of anime would be known as, there are people who are known as otakus. Otakus are described as those who are intense about their hobby and what they love. I, for one, would be considered an otaku. I love and adore anime, and each day I'm either finding out about a new anime that I have not seen before, a new one that is just starting, or something that may have been in the past. Now, within 1979, Mobile Suit Gundam was released. To go ahead and provide some further explanation on that, Mobile Suit Gundam is a mecha suit anime. This would entail of people getting within robots and, I guess you can say, fighting each other. But uh, sometimes within some of these animes, it wasn't just robot versus robot. There are some animes where it would be robot versus monsters, robot versus man. Uh, Another anime that Mobile Suit Gundam was actually able to go ahead and influence was known as Neon Genesis Evangelion. I recently went ahead and watched it, and from what I can say, it is an okay anime. But there are other people who will go ahead and say, "Hey, don't touch it. You will be messed up." And I can completely understand. This anime goes into deep depths of depression and understanding oneself. And one thing that you definitely do not want to do if you do go ahead and watch it, do not self-insert. Do not self-insert, or else this can go ahead and mess with your mental state, and you could end up developing depression and going down a huge rabbit hole that you do not want to. And then the 80s is also known as the golden age, as it came with a lot of anime that went ahead and practically started up uh, a whole lot of anime production. One of them, as I said earlier, was Dragon Ball. Another that uh, the idea came up for was within Sailor Moon, but it didn't actually come into fruition until the 90s. Uh, and then, whew, now this one, content warning. Within the year of 1984 came, please excuse my language, hentai. There is not much to be said here because I actually do not want to go into depths of it. But with the world of pornography already being out there, people have found decided that since pornography is doing so well, why not go ahead and interpret this into anime as well? This has gone ahead and taken a new perspective, and from there, the actual Japanese government has realized, hey, this may not be suitable. This will not be suitable for children. And then they finally started learning how to censor certain things within anime. Some things that we may see over here in the West, over in Japan, it may change, and vice versa. Within 1983, they also decided to come out with, well, they started within the 80s. They also started with sports anime, which would obviously be just be anime, but sports. For example, the anime which is supposed to be referenced behind me, it would be Haikyuu. Haikyuu is a volleyball anime. Uh, Within 1983, they an anime that was released is known as Captain Tsubasa. Captain Tsubasa is a soccer anime, and I believe this is supposed to be the first sports anime that released into many others. As I said, Haikyuu, and there is also Kuroko no Basketball. To go ahead and provide a little bit more detail into what is anime and manga and how can you go ahead and have certain tags, there is shojo and then there is shonen. Shojo, if you ever see anything that is known as shojo, it is supposed to be uh, represented towards the female audience, while shonen is supposed to be represented towards the male audience. And then within the year of 1987, also came the first yaoi slash yuri anime. Yaoi slash yuri is also supposed to be known as same sex love, other known as the first anime that is supposed to go ahead and entail of the LGBT community. This anime is known as, well, the Japanese version is known as Kaze to Kino. I'm sorry, I probably butchered that. It'll be easier if I just go ahead and tell you the actual English, which would be the poem of Wind and Trees. Within 1997, we also ended up getting the world renowned anime known as Pokemon. Now I don't need to go into depths about this since everyone knows Pokemon, especially the cute little Pikachu, sometimes Eevee, Charizard. It is a world of its own, and people just about everywhere love and adore it. Within 2002, we ended up getting another world-renowned anime known as Naruto. Now, I'm not going to go into much depth about it, but it is about a tale of a young boy with a demon fox within him, and he has to learn to either go ahead and control his power or let it consume him. If you would like to find out as to what it is, you shall. Within the year of 2008, the anime world went through a huge change that actually allowed for a lot of, which actually was a huge step. Within 2008, we ended up getting something known as Simulcast. Simulcast actually allows the live episodes from Japan to be streamed across the world at the same time. With this actually coming into fruition, this allows for people on the West to actually, as I said, to see it at the same time as people within Japan. And there would be no delay from what we already have to there, or at least that comes into terms until certain streaming services allow this. One of the most popular streaming services that we have for anime would be known as Viz Media. And then one last thing to say about anime history is that just as anime was most likely believed to be influenced by Western culture, there is also other Western culture that may be inspired by anime. One of these shows being inspired by anime would most definitely be Avatar: The Last Airbender. This this show is amazing down to the bone. I'm pretty sure no one can actually go ahead and say that there was anything really bad about it. And then one other show that was inspired would be known as Samurai Jack. It may not tend to the younger audience, but the people who have seen this either in the past or it still is relatively new to anime, Samurai Jack would definitely be a great addition to add to the list of animes that you have watched. And with that, I can go ahead and tell you that I have just spoken to you about the majority of the history of anime and what there is to know. Hope you all have a good day and keep on watching anime.